We'll spread apart. I'm gonna go ahead and let him in.
Yep.
I think you called me. You said my name? It was the day you called me and said, I just need you to give me the approval. I can't tell you what it's all about, but I just need to talk to the workman.
I don't think I followed through totally. That's what I got accused from with the one that just left. If I did, I tried, but
Well, I
it's
looked at it
still,
like that's, there was a good reason and that's it.
well, it's all, no one,
I had no.
Pretty good, how are you? I said I could. I brought a bottle of water, but my wife can't drink it. Big boats.
Wayne, how you doing?
Okay, I guess.
Good.
Nobody's told me any different yet today.
Dinner for everybody.
For me.
Good night to find you.
You guys have coffee?
We didn't, I don't.
I walked right by and didn't sign in. You didn't even meet?
Oh, we left it. Because Carol,
That me?
John? Yeah.
Steve?
No, sorry. That was John. Where's, you might be over there.
that's all right.
Sorry.
Oh, you guys have put me around.
That's about 6 foot.
I know it. Down there.
Sorry, I get her.
Oh,
You
I know you guys.
Thank you, Carol.
You know, all those pump testers want to stay at 6 foot apart. All right, you get my message, Paul?
Yeah. Were you at the last meeting?
Did you bring extra of that stuff?
You weren't at the meeting?
Good for me.
Half of that was discussed at the
Oh, you
meeting.
mean A&E meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we came in and individually wanted to time and approve the permits.
Right. No. This last Thursday. I was here.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to take it long ways here and, yeah.
The one dock that you're talking about, the new one, being built right now,
Yeah.
that was talked about at that meeting. Because it was approved, exactly the things that they have there, and that, it shouldn't have been approved.
I got
There's no way we could fight it, because it was
We're
approved.
coming up.
Really?
I got.
Even though it's against the rules, let's go ahead and do it.
You guys approved it. So she's got an approval.
We told him he couldn't do it.
Now, you told him he could not have the 4-foot extension, so he didn't put on that 4-foot.
We also told him he couldn't build more than 3 foot over any part of his.
That does not say that
Oh,
on
for
the
that
approval.
day, yeah, wasn't it Florida?
The
It says it in the rules.
We're always in a.
So we just ignore the rules now?
No.
Yeah.
You guys approved his drawing. You didn't put down there that he was breaking the rules. You approved it. We're at a kind of a hard place here. If you guys sign the approval and they build. We'll get it after. I can show you the plans. I went over. I was over there talking to him.
Okay, great.
I went over there to tell him he couldn't do it. And then I went to the plans. They're approved. We can talk about it again. I don't mind. I didn't know about Smith. But I'll have to look at it tomorrow.
I told Ken the day after that was done. No.
I mean, I'm sorry. No, if you're.
Oh, Lord.
How's it going?
Well, that's gotta be cool.
So, are you? I'm a better house.
Oh. That's great. It's hard to see.
Well, she got your too, so.
Yeah, so
You
when
got
I
your
did,
too.
yeah.
And mine got yours.
I need headphones, sorry, I want to share, I've had to do it a couple times. But I have that cheat sheet that's immediately. Oh, it stinks. I forgot. You gotta keep it. Yeah.
Hey, Deb.
Here's my name.
Hey, Rick.
Hi, Deborah.
Bye.
We'll wait just a minute for Jim. He's here in the building. I think he went to the men's room real quick. Jim Johnson. Great timing, Jimmy. It's 7 o'clock.
Here we go.
Call the meeting to order. If you would stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I want to thank you all for coming. First meeting we're all together since the pandemic. We'll go right to announcements. Clear Creek Conservancy, Dwayne Kelly.
Dwayne Kelly, 282 Baker's Lane. I don't really have anything to Conservancy, just except to remind everybody that still this summer sometime we have to seal the new spillway. We're hoping that Mother Nature will get the lake down about 6 inches or so, give us a little buffer so we can get in there and seal it. But we have to seal it sometime this year.
Thank you, Dwayne. Floyd Township Fire, Brian. I didn't see Brian. Neighborhood Watch, April. HLCS, Rick Miller.
Hi.
Hi, Rick. Welcome back.
Thank you. Rick Miller, 26 Gettysburg. On my report, Heritage Lake Highlights readership continues to show a strong following. The printed publication actually flies off the shelf, so to speak, and more so, I think, as the summer season has arrived. We're printing something like 500 to 600 copies a month right now, and the online version has had 829 reads, and so far in June, 277. So that seems to be very popular as well. Our website had 2,666 visitors in June, and we reviewed 4,566 pages. So we're putting something out there that people are finding interesting. So this just really suggests that people care a lot about what is going on in our community. I sincerely hope that people are liking some of the recent format changes to the highlights. We were going for a magazine look and feel, but because of the cost of the equipment to get true edge-to-edge printing, that's not going to happen anytime soon. It's just prohibitive cost. Many thanks to our advertisers for their continued support, and of course to all of our readers. But as always, feedback is always welcome, and we're also always looking for contributors with articles or news. And I want to take this opportunity to give a $1,000 donation to the HLPOA for the Marina. There's no strings attached. You can do with it what you see fit, but my request is that you simply use it for needs that were not budgeted for the Marina. And one of the things that came up in a conversation, whether you actually do it or not, it was a mat, a rubber mat behind the counter at the Marina, just to ease some of the strain on your feet. So,
Thank you very much. Rick, thank you very much for that. Thank you, thank you. Helmack, Heather, I saw Heather.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Heather Ludlow.
Welcome back.
Well, thanks. Heather Ludlow, 56 Victory Hill. Not a lot to say. We do have a meeting tomorrow for Hillnack at 6:30 here at the clubhouse. It's our first one back after the entire pandemic situation. So always looking for new volunteers to help with all the awesome events that we put on every year. We're getting ready for our boat poker run, which is a super successful and fun event, and looking forward to hopefully still having our fireworks show. That's all still in the works. So yeah, just come on out and be a part of it, and we'd love to have you.
What's the date of the poker run, Heather?
August 15th, sorry. Almost
Okay.
like last year's date.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. POA security, Brian?
He's not here.
What?
He's not here.
I'll just skip him.
Okay.
Thank you.
He had something to do with his kids.
Garden Club, Anita.
Anita Johnson, 55JB. We are still nurturing our pollinator garden up in Lincoln Hills. We weeded over at the activity center and we're ready to mulch it. And our next meeting is Thursday at 9:30 at the shelter house in Lincoln Hills. And the third thing is we have feelers out for help with design on the marina landscaping that we're really excited to be a part of.
Thank you, Anita. Presentation of agenda. Any additions or corrections to the agenda the way it was presented to you guys? If I don't hear any, I just want to take a few minutes and add that I want to make a couple statements after I get a motion to accept the agenda with me speaking after the agenda passes or corrected. Any additions or corrections to the way the agenda is presented?
Motion to accept. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, with that, I've got a few announcements I'd like to make. This evening, your board has dismissed one of the board members for cause. Jeff Brooks, and it was unanimous. We had a meeting prior to this meeting, and he is no longer a board member of the HLPOA as of this evening. The second item I'd like to bring up, this is the first time we've had an open meeting. I'd like to explain, as I know it to be, how the rezoning happened. A month ago in 2 days, we were
told that Putnam County was gonna put a stop work order on our marina over here. With that being said, a month ago today, the zoning committee in Putnam County had a meeting. I asked Paul Ford, Ken Rozelle, and our attorney to go to this meeting on our behalf so that the stop work order did not happen. That was how that transpired. They went to the meeting. The stop work order was not issued. The person that had requested the stop work order did not even show up to that meeting. With that being said, they asked Paul, Ken, and our attorney why we were there. We were on their agenda, Heritage Lake. We did not ask to be put on it. Someone else put Heritage Lake topic on their agenda. Did they know who put it on? I'd never asked you that.
We can't say that.
Okay.
We can't say
I don't know. With that being said, the board and their attorney, the county attorney, said, okay, there's been an error made. We issued you a building permit, and your building is grandfathered residential as of that meeting. They put us on notice that we needed to submit a building rezoning commercial, what's the other word, mate?
Commercial general.
General, sorry. Commercial general. That's what Putnam County directed us to do, us, the POA. At that time, Paul got with our attorney the following day, got the process going of the rezoning for that building. They told Paul, Ken, and our attorney that once the building was tore down, new building put in place, it should be rezoned. There was an oversight on their part. We put in for rezoning. The building went on as planned, under construction. They gave us an occupancy letter saying that we're fine, and at the bottom of it, there's a place for zoning. It said it's fine, and we are assuming they told us it was fine because we had the request in for commercial. Because we just got that, I don't have the date on that,
You mean the,
occupancy letter.
It was
13th.
I think it's the 12th or 13th, yeah.
Okay, that's when they told us we could move in the building, and at the bottom of it, it says, and I'll read it off of the paper. Did the project comply with all commitments? Where does it say about the one above it, sorry. Did the project comply with all zoning standards? And it says yes. This was given to us by the county inspector, gave it to Paul, I believe. Is that
Gave it to Ken.
Oh, gave it to Ken, okay, sorry. I know Ken's one, Paul's the one that notified me we had this given to us. We talked about it. Anyway, I felt like I wanted to tell everyone here the way this transpired to the best of my ability, and that's the way I know it happened. That's as far as I'm gonna go. Did I leave anything out that was important?
Oh, the only thing I would say that we left out that's important is just speculation on my part. And the speculation is, the question I had was, why was the word restaurant in the petition? And there was no explanation for that, either from the attorney of the county or the building inspector. I won't tell you what the building inspector said because it's kind of incriminating. So I won't tell you what he said, but I was very surprised to see that language in there, because if you look under commercial zoning general, it is the only zoning we can get and pump gas. There's a commercial zoning, I think it's called community or something like that, convenience. And under commercial convenience, you can't pump gas. Both of them will let you have a restaurant. So my theory is that whoever is behind the simple fact that we're not zoned properly and made that known to the people in Greencastle so that the BZA board were going to discuss that person got somebody to put the word restaurant in there, and boy did it work. Social media ate that shit up. So, that's where we are. And all I can tell you is that is the zoning we need to run the marina. And yes, that is the zoning we need for a restaurant. You can't sell ice cream, you can't sell candy, and you can't sell gas. Now you can say, well, we can get a variance and do all those things. Yeah, until somebody puts an injunction against us for whatever reason they want to do, because we're selling hamburgers in there, or we're cooking something in the microwave. We don't want to take any chances. We want a commercial zoning, and that's what we applied for. And that was suggested by the Building Zoning Board and the county attorney. That's all we can go by. They told us that. Our attorneys agreed. We don't ever do any of this stuff by just flipping a coin. We did it with what we thought was proper research and legal assistance. That's where we are.
At the end of that meeting, or during that meeting, we simply asked, what do we need to do to make this right? That was the direction they give us. The county attorney, the board told us that's what needed to be done, and they highly recommended us to file for the general. Now, the disturbing thing is, once this all transpired during the commissioners meeting, I cornered the attorney and I said, answer one thing for me. Why did they give us a building permit to build a commercial building in a residential zone? His answer was, I don't know. So we were just simply following the direction of the county attorney, and then it all blew up. So if the county attorney can't tell us why they did it, there's a problem.
Thank you, you two, for helping out there. Thank you. Presentation of the minutes for the May 11th board meeting. Any additions or corrections to that? If not, I'll take a motion to accept as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? May 18th operation meeting minutes. Any additions or corrections to that? If not, I'll take a motion.
Motion. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Treasurer's report. Jimmy, give us some good news, would you please?
I got some good news.
I thought you might.
First of all, I'm going to change the format a little bit because our numbers are preliminary. The reason they're preliminary is there's just so many things going around right now with the boat registrations and all that. So our short-term cash is $598,776. Our total investments are $477,081. Our year-to-date last payments for the construction on the marina and associated things like filing fees and for the permits and the plan drawings and all that was $60,482. Year-to-date in 2020, we have paid out $710,918. It's about $770,000 has been remitted to date. We've also had some very generous people in our community who have voluntarily added donations for the marina to their assessments. They do the same thing, by the way, for the fireworks. Many people do that. And that sum is $3,611.35. And that has now grown tonight by $1,000 from our dear friend Rick. So that's at $4,611. Also, the best news, we built models to see the impact, economic impact on our property owners association if we built the marina. And the models had all kinds of assumptions in them. The most volatile of the assumptions had to do with our motorized boat fees. I'm going to give you a comparison year to date right now, which is skewed. And it's skewed because of COVID. It's higher than it was last year, but you would expect that. Our 2019 year-to-date boat registrations were 76,250. Our 2020 are 280,500. Our non-motorized boat fees are 3,000 last year, and they're 12,060 now. Slips were 18,560. They're now 19,195. Tie-ups, instead of 21,682, 25,560. Campgrounds, 42,880. They're now 44,690. That's meaningful because the model that we made was a 4-year pay down of the debt, the $260,000 debt, which I'm going to get to in a second. I think we're going to do it in 3. And it's just because things are much, much better than we assumed in the model. And if we end up the same place next year with this kind of result, we may be able to do it in 2. So it's just outstanding. We did not expect this. So that is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It's great news, Jimmy. Thank you. Any questions of Jim? Thank you.
Oh, one more thing, Rick.
Go ahead.
Boat registrations in the model were 283. And they are today, I'm sorry, stop. 883.
Yeah.
979.
That means we are $30,000 ahead of where we need to be. And we still got maybe another 35 or 40,000 out there. Awesome. I'm sorry, Rick.
We should get an influx of boat registrations again around 4th of July. I think I got concurrence on that from Lois back there, head shaking. So all the boats being registered is going to be going for a good cause. Board committee reports, A&E. Joe? Not here. Oh, Ben, go ahead.
Ben Fuchs, 77 Gettysburg. I've got 3 monthly reports. Start with March. There were 4 permits. There are actually 5 projects on 4 permits. 2 houses, 3,389 square feet, 1,453 square feet. 1 dock, 1 deck, and 1 lift. April, we had 21 permits, 24 projects, 7 houses. They were 2136, 1672, 1480, 1440, 1440, 1288, and 1104. 3 garages, 8 docks, 2 lifts, 3 porches, 1 fence. Having trouble reading my own writing.
I have that problem too.
May, we had 27 permits, 30 projects, 11 houses, 3578, $2,700, $2,131, $1,900, 2 at $1,540, $1,354, $1,261, $1,185, and 2 at $1,008. Had 1 addition, 3 decks, 3 docks, 1 gazebo, 6 fences, and 5 lifts.
Thank you, Ben. Is that all you had?
That's it.
That's enough.
Yeah.
22 new houses in 3 months.
That's that many more people moving in.
Well, any more votes? That's a
Right
totally
now.
different discussion for another night. Campground.
Walking from one boat to the other.
Lori, campground's not here, I didn't see. Cleanup, Sarah, no. I didn't. Government. Dick,
Dick Werner, 183 Jefferson Valley.
welcome, Dick.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Glad to have you.
COVID-19 kept me out of the courthouse for 2 months, but I've been back at it for a month now. County commissioners and council carried on, sometimes virtually, and most actions were relative to the county pandemic response. The meetings missed will eventually have minutes available to the public, and if anything pertinent to this community comes to light, I'll report it in the future. The courthouse is slowly reopening. Access remains only through the east entrance, but as of now, all departments have returned to full staffing. Most recent actions have been related to COVID and the reopening. Early voting was made available May 6th to June 1 with very low turnout. Putnam County reported a total of approximately 20% of registered voters cast a ballot in this primary. Hopefully we'll hear a bigger voice in November. One big impact of the pandemic shutdown to the county is the loss of 30% of gas tax payments to Putnam County. Just because people weren't out driving, they weren't able to collect the gas taxes which the state disperses to the counties. That makes up a major portion of the highway department budget. So annual repaving plans for the county include hot mix asphalt, double chip and seal, and chip and seal. The highway department projects they will be able to complete the scheduled hot mix and double chip and seal, but no chip and seal. I did ask, and it was confirmed that the roads that were scheduled for Heritage Lake this year were double chip and seal. And that's evidence they've already started. We saw some scraping around this road from 46 to 49, 43 to 49. So they're getting ready to start some double chip and seal.
I was worried you were going to say they were not going to finish that.
So as it stands, our projects are supposed to get done this year, but that could change if the COVID thing comes up again. So just wanted to relate that to everybody. Putnam County EMS is also struggling with budget shortfalls, and according to Director Kelly, she's the new director of Putnam County Emergency Medical Systems. She remarked that not only are cost and revenue projections from former Operation Life officials unrealistic, the expected increase in revenues from the county being able to garnish tax returns on non-payment people. Now that EMS service are government provided, Operation Life could not garnish and try to collect back dues. The pandemic situation has put that potential revenue stream on hold. Thus, the PCEMS has been tasked with developing a plan to meet the shortfall. Kelly conveyed that they are presently cutting supply purchase, has switched to cheaper government supply chain, which Operation Life did not have access to because they were a private entity. And they are also cutting overtime, have quit staffing 1 extra ambulance. Because of COVID response, they did put the backup ambulance in operation. So we were at 4 for a while. we're back to the usual 3 now. And they have put discussions of equipment replacement on hold indefinitely. Additionally, as 78% of EMS runs are reportedly in Greencastle, the city of Greencastle will be asked to contribute to PCE EMS, which seems reasonable to me. There is a June 17 meeting scheduled at 10 a.m. to revisit the EMS budget plans. The assumption was that will be held in the commissioner's courtroom at the courthouse. And finally, another topic on PCE EMS is the Bainbridge location as one of the PCE EMS bases. There's 2 topics here to mention. One, the Bainbridge Fire Department owns the land on which Operation Life built the EMS structure, with the understanding that the building would revert to Bainbridge Fire Department if sitting unused, which it did for a lengthy period, or when Operation Life ceased to exist, which technically they have not yet. That board is still technically together for 1 year after the assumption by the county. Nevertheless, Bainbridge Fire Department is making moves to exercise takeover of the structure for their use, which will be addressed further on the June 17 meeting. The other topic to mention is the PCEMS long-term plan is to relocate the Bainbridge base close to the 36 and 231 intersection to more efficiently cover the northern portion of the county. Likewise, a proposal to move funds from Annex Fund to EMS to cover shortfalls will be addressed on June 17th. The Annex Fund is a fund that the commissioners have been contributing to over the years for a potential need in the future for more government office space. So that's what I have. The next government committee meeting will be scheduled for Thursday, June 24th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Dick.
Yep.
Lake Ken Hoops. Anybody here to report for the lake? Okay. Clean water. Phil? I did not see Phil. No one here to report for Phil. Long range planning. Deborah. I saw Deborah.
She's on vacation. So is long range planning. No report.
That's all I needed to hear. Thank you, Deborah. Siltation, Dwayne Kelly.
Dwayne Kelly, 282 Patriots Landing. Start out by saying that our first meeting this year is June the 25th at 7 o'clock here. We hadn't met last October. We don't normally meet during the winter. Luckily, last October, we decided a couple of projects we wanted to try to get done this summer. So we usually try to do that because in case Shannon wants to start just as soon as the ice gets out of the lake, which happened this year. So one of the projects that we had wanted to get done this year is taken care of, and that was some more clean out of the north end and out in front of the beach and the lake part. That was completed, $40,000, and 2,250 cubic yards of silt was taken out.
Sounds like another silt to me, Dwayne. Thank you. HLEPT, Darcy/Tom Novak.
I just,
I said Darcy's not.
Oh, go ahead, Tom.
I just wanted to reach out to everybody regarding the May 26, 2020 Heritage Lake American Red Cross Blood Drive. Just to thank all the people who donated blood. 47 people have donated blood during the May 26th. We had 15 first-time donors. We had 49 units of blood collected. And to those people, that potentially saves 135 lives. I'd also like to just reach out and thank Mary Ann Novak for coordinating with the American Red Cross and putting on this event. It was a total success.
Would you let Mary Ann know the board, how the board appreciates her?
Okay.
Please, thank you. Election, Jim Muhlenbein, I did not see Jim. Okay, that'll take us right to old business forum. Marina update, Paul Forbes.
Okay. Oh, the marina's open.
Good
In
update.
case you didn't know, the first week and a half, very successful time, a direct result from many long hours put in by Ken Roselle and his staff, and especially Lois Napier and her team. Never seen such hard work out here ever. Every time I visit the marina, which is often, Lois tells me over and over how happy everyone is coming through the door, and how almost everyone wants to know, when is the restaurant coming? We know there are some people that don't want it, but that marina has been filled daily with people that are asking that question. As you have seen, the marina part is finished. The back end is under construction as we speak. Mechanics are working in the kitchen area to get all the mechanicals up and running for eventual kitchen. The stairway on the ramp side has been having a little remodel done. Originally it was a wood structure on the ramp side, and once we received our final survey, about that much of the bottom of that stairway was in the floodplain. And because we're getting a loan from the bank, the word flood is a dirty word. And they don't take any chances, and so we received notification that we'd have to buy $30,000 worth of flood insurance. That was not expected. So we spent $2,500 putting concrete underneath that stairway. And now we don't have to buy flood insurance. The handrails are almost finished, and then the spindles or the cables will be going in the end of this week. We're installing some new hand dryers this week. Somehow we got the miniatures. And let's see, what else we got going here? We're going to be installing rope lighting on the patio towards the end of the week. We're going to continue finishing on the exterior painting. That's been a sore subject. And we're going to finish our punch list this week. As far as the kitchen is concerned, in the back, we're just doing some more framing. We have different mechanicals going different directions because of different equipment that may be coming in. So there's bulkheads being moved, there's new lines being run, and that's being done within the next 2 weeks. The schedule for that is probably by the end of July, that would be completed. That's what we assume. And that depends a lot on, hopefully everybody understands construction has been hampered. When you have the hourly wage guys that are working for some of these companies can make more money to sit home rather than drive an hour to work on the marina, it's like pulling teeth to get them to come out there and put a paintbrush in their hand. So it's been a hard and tough road. But it is up to schedule right now. I have been in constant contact with the contractors. And for those of you who don't know, the contractors all live out here. And I have been involved in several contracting situations, both commercially and residentially, over the last 45 years. And I can only tell you that I wished I had that construction company on most of my projects. They're a blessing to work with. Their integrity is as high as I've ever seen. That building will be there 100 years from now. It is a phenomenal building. And if anybody ever cares to find out all the little particulars of that building, when you walk through it and see it, everything underneath the beauty is substantial. The insulation, the 2x6 walls, everything is done so it'll be there for 100 years. It's really a nice building. That's all I have.
That's all you have. Pretty good. I'd like to take a minute to thank Paul. Paul's been in charge of this project from a board's point of view. He's reported to the board, he's reported to you. He's been there every single day that I know of. I don't know how many you missed in the last 3 months. But I want to publicly thank you for the board, from the board, and from me. He's kept me appraised continually how it's been going. If it wasn't for Paul, we would not have been open before Memorial Weekend, I assure you. He has been that big a part of keeping us on track, keeping them going, making sure things were done to be open before the Memorial Weekend, and we made that. Paul, thank you so much.
We really would not have been open without our manager, Ken. Every time Joe, the superintendent, needed something done because he was waiting and waiting and waiting, we told Ken what it was, and he got it taken care of. Because he knows it. And he calls him. And he says, you got to get over here. We got to open. We're gonna miss the weekend. And he did that. I can't tell you how many times he's done that. So he really deserves the credit.
Well, I want to say thank you to Lois and her staff. If you only know what undertaking it was to take over that building 2 days prior to the Memorial Weekend, to learn a new register system. And there were some little tense times, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna tell you, they pulled it off as a champ. I mean, Darcy was a huge asset to kind of hang out, take her weekend, and spend a lot of time with us at the Marina through the technical issues. But I'm telling you, I was nervous, but we pulled it off, and I thought we pulled it off really well. I will tell you that some of the kind of my business model that I set up in there was, and I'm sure Lois probably and Arlene probably thanks me, but in the years past, they would run all over town to get the pop, the Walmart run, the ice cream. They don't have to do any of that. We went from, some people, and I haven't heard it, but we used to run around all over the place and get Coke and Pepsi, half-liter bottles, load them up in their vehicles, tear up their vehicles. I had a good relationship with Coca-Cola. I signed a contract with them. We have much more variety. We don't have a Mountain Dew, but it was worth having as a 20-ounce bottle a lower price than most convenience stores. And I got the best pricing that you could get, which is called their gold pricing. So we made a lot of changes. It helps them out from running around all over the place. But we have consistently, the last 3 orders, we have consistently spent over $1,000 every week on just replenishing what has been sold. And the inside sales, and that's just That's just with E.B. Brown, the snack supplier. That's not counting Coke. That's not counting any of the other supplies, the buoys and bumpers and in the cleats and all that kind of stuff, the fishing supplies. So the inside sales of that place is doing really, really well. And I just want to thank the community for that. It was very successful. People was very patient through the holiday weekend. And the hats off to the employees there. They did a phenomenal job.
And one more thing. One more thing concerning the marina. And there's a meeting Thursday night at 6:30 in Greencastle. And that's about the zoning. Now in this community, we all know that there's a nucleus of people that do everything. Everybody talks, but there's a nucleus of people that volunteer for everything. And they come out for every situation, and they cook, and they sweat, and they work hard. And we don't ever talk so much about that, but it is a small nucleus of the community. I am asking everybody that sees me on camera and everybody that's in this room, if you care about this community and you want a positive direction with a marina and possibly a great restaurant, please join us at 6 o'clock Thursday evening in Greencastle. If that's all you do as a volunteer, that will be greatly appreciated. We probably won't be letting in because of the pandemic, but please, we need to show them our support for what we've worked hard for.
Thank you, Bob.
Do you want to give the number so the people can call at 3:30 to just confirm the location?
Were you his straight man for this town? I thought so.
We already all touched it in over there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Over here. Yeah, I gave you one.
Oh, we got one.
We got one.
We're just putting them on the table to your left.
Yeah, just-
You want to make that call after 3:30, just to confirm the time?
Before 3:30,
Before 3:30?
yes.
Anybody else?
Before 3:30 on Thursday.
I'll be glad to take one.
Well, there you go.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Covenants vote, Jim Johnson.
This will be brief. For reasons we don't understand, there's been a surge in electronic votes comparatively. And the effort is continuing. It continues to be an uphill climb, but we do have the goal in sight. And I want to give a big thanks to Jim Muhlenbein and our past president, Chris Schaefer, who is working together. It's a committee of 3. They're working tirelessly to try to get more and more votes in. I'm making about 30 calls a week, and they're busting their hides too. So if you know anybody who hasn't voted, get them to vote, please. And if anybody is interested, today I have petitions. So that's really it. But the goal is in sight, but it's going to be an uphill climb because there's fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer people that haven't voted. We're about 1,700 now, maybe a little less.
Thank you for the report, Jim. Anybody at the board have anything else? If not, it's time for the forum. This is a time that the community has a time for them to get up and give their questions, concerns, criticisms, whatever, what I'll do is open it up, you'll raise your hand, acknowledge your hand. Please stand, give your name and your address, please, and then we'll listen to that. First hand I saw was Rick Miller.
Thanks, Rick. Two quick things. Paul, you forgot one thing on the Marina. I happened to be in there today and I noticed sitting in the restaurant area ready for installation was electronic funds machine. Pretty cool.
ATM machine.
ATM.
Is it the right one though? It wasn't the one we expected.
I don't care. It works.
If it holds money.
But the other thing, and since Dwayne Kelly is here, I thought maybe I'd throw this question out there, because I just heard a conversation, I don't know how accurate it was, but I'm curious where we stand with our plant on sewage and new homes being built. I heard we're at or near capacity on that. Do you guys have a hard stop point on new home building and or plans to deal with it?
Dwayne Kelly, 282 Patriots Landing. No, we're not near capacity. We're working with the state, with IDEM. We got a letter from IDEM 2 months ago. I'm going to say maybe 3 months ago, but anyway, this year. And the thing that controls that part of building and so forth is how much influx comes in, and well, again, that's my granddaughter in Texas, so we'll just let it go. They do that on the amount of gallons that come in. We know that we have leaks where surface water comes in. The only time that we get near capacity or get close enough to capacity that I can, and we have to, Doug has to send in a report every time we get to a certain capacity. He has to send a report into them that with how much rain we've had in the few days before that. That's the only thing that bothers us. I mean, the only thing that's causing any problems and not a problem. IDEM, we've got an engineer looking at if we have to expand the capacity. We're already got an engineer looking at that and what it would cost. We've got the money back to build it, so there shouldn't be any sewage bill. Another thing is just like we did the spillway, $560,000. We had the money booked back for it, so there was no rate, no sewage rate on that. The Conservancy, I'm saying this, it's fact right now, unless something drastic happens, we are in fantastic shape financially. Not because of me, but because somebody back years ago started thinking this might happen, so let's put some money back, and those things happen. We've had, and I'm sure some of you have seen, but I've seen a couple of comments on Facebook. You've seen them working, the crews working at the manhole covers around the lake. We found some manhole covers that had cracks in the bottom. They've been in sealing those. We've been running cameras up laterals. We have our own camera now. We run cameras up laterals. If the guys are out and they see a bunch of clear water in a sewage, then go upstream from that, put cameras in the laterals. I hate to say this, but we're still finding where Endeavor poked through our laterals when they put the things in. And what they did, if there was a 4 to 6 inch lateral with that drill, they just went right through it. You run your camera up there and there's that orange cable running right through your lateral. So the only thing to do is dig down, and repair it. We found some cracks in some of the lateral and some of the feeds, but as things stand right now, we hired an engineering firm a year ago, I think now, to start looking at what we would have to do if we had to expand, and engineer it for us and tell us what it would take and what it would cost us. So really, we're in really good shape, except when we get those 2 and 3 inch rains, and then that puts our flow up to where IDM doesn't like the looks of it, but they haven't threatened us with any fines. It's, why IDM is so hot on top of this is they deal with a lot of sewage treatment, small towns and so forth that have not put any money back, and when they see them start spiking up, IDM really gets nervous because they think, what are these people going to do? They don't have the money to repair it, or don't have the money to expand it. But we're in good shape there. We're in excellent shape as far as that part of it is concerned. And Doug, our manager, does a really good job of responding to IDM with whatever they require, whatever information they require. So thank you for the question. And did I answer everything?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. Appreciate it. Thank you. Back there.
Carol Forrest, 54 Jefferson Valley. I just want to add to Jim's generous comment to thank Jim Muhlenbein. I would like to add his wife Debbie as working really hand in hand with him.
Really?
And I'm sure that there are many other people that help with the covenants vote, but I know that she's really a partner with him in that.
Thank you, Carol. I agree. Jim and Deb do a lot for this community. They're one of the ones Jim was talking about. They're that core nucleus. They're in charge of elections. They help them with this covenants vote, and they've been dedicated a long time to that. So, what, 15 months? Something like
I
that.
couldn't pronounce his name when I first met him. I can't now.
Lois.
I still can't spell it.
Okay, Lois Napier, 312 Mill Springs and the Marina. Thanks everybody for all your thank yous, all the coming in and loving the building. The little kids will come in and they're, wow. You know, and it's constant. Every day we hear that. And yes, we have worked hard. It's hard to get used to a concrete floor when you haven't been working on concrete, so that's been a problem. But we thank everybody. I have a whole bunch of right-hand people at the Marina that are great. They come in early, they stay late. So thanks everybody. And I got one little story to tell you about the gas man. He was coming in there every day on Memorial Day weekend filling us up. He said, Lois, I got to tell you something. Country Mart store called me a while ago and wanted me to deliver their gas. And I said, no, I can't deliver your gas. You got a contract with Coal Lines. So we got the right guy to deliver our gas. I've been doing it. So thank you for that. Okay? That's
Thank
all.
you, Lois. And make sure you tell all the people that work with you how much the board appreciates the extra effort they did to get that open. Thank you.
Thank you.
I bought them all a gift card. Said thank you.
Yes,
Well, good for you.
that was appreciated. Big 2 tanks of gas, that was great.
I'm Dan Teague, 289 Gettysburg. I guess I got a concern about bass tournaments. When me and my wife came and visited the office February, March, looking to possibly buy property out here and build a house. I asked about tournaments and was told, well, in 2018, they had 13, 14 tournaments, something like that, 7 to 12 boats and so forth, and that were normally showing up in these tournaments. It's a big decision of building out here, so we got a double lot, got a house that'll be done this month. I went to most of the lake meetings last year. First meeting, Robin turns in 28 tournaments. So it jumped from 13, 14, or 15 to 28 tournaments. And at the end of the last year, they were getting 15 votes per tournament, a two-man tournament. So this year, I understand that they turned in 32 tournaments. In the last lake meeting, I suggested that, you know, that it was too much for this size lake. That's too many boats. It ruined Glen Flint bass fishing with the tournaments they were having out there. Affected Waveland. And then I come out on the 31st to fish. Parking lot's full. Ran in and this gentleman here was working.
Steve.
Steve, he was, had a tournament, well, I was talking to him at the ramp. Here comes one of the tournament guys just barreling the wrong way, going from there to there. There was another boat in that was part of the tournament, and he had said something to them about, you know, to be careful out there, go the right direction, so forth. And whoever these guys were, they totally disrespected him and was yelling at him and so forth. And but you know, 13, 14 to 28 to 32, this isn't, as far as I was led to believe, a tournament lake. It's a privilege, you know, to have tournaments out here. And now I was out, when I was out on the lake fishing, talking to one of the guys in the tournament, I just said, hey, how many boats are in the tournament today? He said, 25. 25 boats. We only got 23 coves. These guys, 23, 24 coves, and these guys just crisscross, go, I'll be bass fishing, and they'll come in and go 30 yards in front of you and start fishing right where you were getting ready to fish. They don't care. The bigger it gets, the more money it's involved, and it's just out of control. And I don't know what to do to stop it, but it's going to affect the fishery. There's no doubt about it. I was told in the meeting late in the year last year that after 20-some tournaments that there had only been 7 fish that had been turned in that were dead. And anybody that's done any tournament fishing knows that couldn't be farther from the truth. And that's what was told to the lake. So I don't know what to do. There should be a limit on how many boats are in a tournament. And should be a limit on how many tournaments per year. Or, I mean, next year it could be 40 that they pass or something. Who knows?
I've got a note on that. You didn't happen to get the boat address, the one that was disrespectful to our...
I don't know. He might have got it, but I didn't.
They come back and apologize. They weren't even in the tournament.
Oh, they weren't? Okay.
No, they weren't in the tournament. They were just, they thought we were out of hand saying something about the guy going the wrong way, and they come back and apologized.
Okay.
He was on, at one time, he was on the lake security, so.
But that's my concern.
I've got some notes here, and I'll commit to you that I will personally talk to the Lake Committee Chairman. We spoke to him before this season started, and we were assured that everybody that was in the tournaments would be talked to about respect of the neighbors, talking to people if they get their lures caught in a respectful manner. And you just about put me over the edge when you told me this about him. I was...
Oh, they were yelling.
Because the Lake Committee did assure this board that they would talk to everybody in their tournaments about being respectful and about how to drive this lake and go the proper way and the proper use of lights of an evening. We were assured everybody in the tournaments would be told that. And I'll talk to him personally because of what you report was. Okay? And I'd encourage you to call me directly if you also see
And you're right, good for you.
going the wrong way. I mean, that was the big thing for safety purposes here. We've had them go the wrong way at night with no lights on, which is totally dangerous. Somebody's going to get hurt on this lake soon. I don't want it to happen.
Well, they're crisscrossing the lake like crazy. One point to the other.
Okay, I commit to you that I'll talk to the committee chairman of the lake committee, he's the one that assured us that this would happen, so.
But I'm sure that also on a Sunday morning, they don't want to hear 25 votes early in the morning or any morning. You know, that's just way too much. It won't take long to hurt the lake.
Thanks for all your information. Did I get your address correct? 289
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg? That's, okay, I just want to make sure I got it.
I think one of these ladies recommended a few builders, and they did recommend Bakers and Sons was one of those. Just tell you, they were just completely happy with their workmanship, and how cordial they are. And
Well, I want to welcome you to the neighborhood. It's a great place to live. I'm sure there's 3/4 of people here would raise their hand.
Everybody has been
and agree with that.
super out here.
What was your name?
Dan Teague.
T-E-A-G-U-E?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Dan, if I could add something, at the beginning of the season, me and the lake chairman, Ken Hoops, met with Brian and 3 other members, I think. And we, for every one incident that you've encountered, I received probably, take that times 10, how many complaints that I get. We aired those out. I only want to deal with, I don't want to deal with 25, 30 fishermen out there. I was very clear I wanted to deal with one person. Brian's been very respectful when I've called him and I've messaged him when I've gotten complaints. And all I ask him to do is, at the beginning, somebody has to be the eyes and ears of that group. And I ask him to express those concerns to their group before they go out. You know, I've heard the complaints of them going up and down the lake at the middle of the night. Their first night, they probably caught wind, because I made it very clear that if I caught somebody flying up and down the middle of the lake at night, I was not only going to write them a citation for speed, I was going to unload their fishing well and I was going to kick them off the water. I stayed out till 1 a.m. and I never seen a boat, and I listened and I listened. But they probably knew that I was out because I think I asked them to share that. It's out of control. I won't deny, but it's going to take Brian heading that up each and every tournament to be respectful on the lake for everybody else.
I appreciate that, Bo. What is the process to start to get it limited for next year? I mean,
Well,
I realize that
it
this year.
starts with the lake committee, because all that gets presented to the lake committee. What they agree to comes to the board for a
See,
vote.
but in that last meeting, I tried to get something going to limit it, and Robin said, well, maybe we do need to restrict it, but it was the last meeting, so we can't vote.
I did.
Is what I was told in that last meeting, that, well, we can't vote tonight. And then it went from 28 to 32, and, you know, obviously they only had 10 people at the first meeting. And then I didn't even know about the second meeting when it was.
During my meeting with them, I was very upfront, and I just said if the problems and complaints of this kind of nature don't go away, that it was going to be my recommendation to the board next year to either cut the tournaments in half or eliminate them altogether.
Cut in half is perfect.
So, I mean,
I don't think that you ought to eliminate it, you know.
Well, it kind of depends on how bad they want to fish,
Well,
and how
true.
bad they want to respect
Exactly.
everybody.
And I was one, I did bring up that about each boat should have a $5 fee that would go to, that was my recommendation, that they said it was like $5 per tournament it's going to. And I said, that's crazy. It should be $5, it should probably be $5 per person in the boat. That's raising money.
Well, I did,
You know.
during one of their tournaments, I did get a complaint, and I messaged, I didn't have his number, but I messaged him while he was in the tournament, and he responded back, wanted to know the information, and I told him all I ask is that address it with him when he gets in, and let him know that he's gonna be receiving a letter, and I sent him a letter that Monday. And just advised him that if I got another complaint for him, any justification of danger, and he was going the wrong way on the lake, that he was gonna be done for the season.
So how do we protect if they're in danger of losing that they start having their tournament guys show up at the committee and vote, make sure that it gets voted in, as many tournaments they want the following year? If it's just a lake committee deal, that's my concern.
Sir, it's not a late decision, it's not a decision. They come to the board and they present to the board how many tournaments and the dates and times of the tournaments. So.
And then the board votes on it themselves?
That is correct.
Okay, all right, then I'm fine with that.
And this year, they missed a lot of tournaments because of the COVID. What was it, 5 tournaments they missed?
That's a good thing.
They missed some. I did just get a message that they did tell all the fishermen about that, and if it's not working, they're gonna have to do it again. So, somebody out there is listening and responded to me.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, right here, you.
Kathy Winslow, 420 Mill Springs. What is the cost, total cost of the new marina, and how much of a loan did we take out? And then why are we opening the restaurant to the public with a liquor license?
Good questions. I can't tell you the total cost. We don't have the final bill that I know it to be. Jim?
Yeah. It ought to come in around $1.1 million, right on target. The second one was, what is the amount of the loan? The loan is $260,000. That's $500,000 less than what we expected. As far as, there was something about food and booze.
The restaurant being open to the public for them to come in with a liquor license.
Well, I can't answer why, but I would just say that the restaurant can't open unless it is public. It won't be economically viable. And the question of booze, I think it's fair to say that all of us have different opinions about the consumption of alcohol. And some of us are far more conservative than others, some of us are far more liberal than others.
Well,
And we respect everybody's opinion and not just one.
This is a family area, and we have enough liquor on the lake, let alone having the public come in here, the amount of traffic, the no parking at the marina, if you fill it with restaurant people. And I think it's just ridiculous that you open it up to the public.
So noted, Kathy. Thank you.
If I could say something about, because I've heard parking. My opinion on that parking, let's wait to see if it's a problem first to complain about it. Over the Memorial Weekend, we had a perfect storm. We had people wanted to get out and see the marina. We had people just wanted to get out, and we had beautiful weather. And at 2 different times, at the busiest time, I drove through that parking lot and I counted parking spaces. And on Saturday, when I felt like it was the busiest time, we had 59 open parking spots. Sunday, I went through and counted them. We had 47 open parking spots. And that was during our busiest time. And that was on a Memorial Weekend on what I call a perfect storm. I mean, it was absolutely incredibly busy. The water was rough as it could be. And so my comment is let's just wait to see. We have an idea what we could do with parking if it's a problem. But let's see if it's a problem first.
Why are we opening it up to the public, though?
That's not a question I can answer. That's not
my
decision.
I'll tell you this, we won't be able to have a restaurant if we don't open it to the public. There is no restaurant that will be sustained by 1,200 residents. In Bainbridge, not Bainbridge, excuse me, Rockville, I'll give you a good example. Now, I'll start with that. In Rockville, there's a place called the 36 Saloon. Now, that's a lousy name for a place for people that don't want to drink alcohol or don't like alcohol. There's a lot of people that go in there that don't drink alcohol. They just go in and eat and drink Coke or Pepsi. And there are families in there. And they have 1,200 residents in Rockville. And that place is always jam-packed. They're all from outside the area. They sustain that restaurant. A restaurant model will not work at Heritage Lake without the public. And we cannot, I don't know of a restaurant that doesn't serve alcohol that's going to come out here and be successful. The restaurant, I'm just going to, let me finish. I realize you don't want this at all. I understand that. I'm just trying to explain the philosophy behind this. There's a restaurant in Hidden Valley. Hidden Valley is southern Indiana, near Cincinnati. It's about half the size of our lake. They use stoplights on their lake. They have recreational boats, but they use stoplights to direct traffic because it's that small. They have a restaurant on that lake. And that restaurant's been owned for 9 years. And it's been an excellent partnership with the homeowners association. And they brought the public in. They have had no problems. We have the public coming here already. Steve, you can attest to that. Lois can attest to that.
Yeah.
I don't understand, I do understand. There are differences of opinions. I understand the alcohol thing. As far as people coming to the restaurant and causing problems, and we have to develop a new security code out here, we let people come into our homes twice a year from all over the place to buy things we own and look at things we're not selling. We're not getting ripped off by them. They're coming in here to buy garage sale stuff. When people come to a restaurant to buy food and have a beer, that's what they're coming here for. When you go to Olive Garden, you don't go into Olive Garden and then when you come out, you start vandalizing the parking lot. It's, now, but the real subject that we need to talk about is that we will only have a restaurant at Heritage Lake if the public is involved. We will only have a restaurant if alcohol is in that restaurant. And it's going to be mostly beer. And my last point is, I could look for 10 years for an operator that'll fit this neighborhood, and we would never find somebody as well as we have found. And it was by mistake. It was earlier than anybody ever dreamed of, but he's a fit. And he is so community oriented. Every community he's in, he was top shelf. And he is not going to cancel our plans for fundraiser. He's going to help us with them. That's his attitude. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Robin Campbell, 418 Mills. My question regarding the restaurant being brought in, the public being brought in, I understand that. I work in hospitality. My concern as a resident out here is the public not only utilizing the restaurant, I understand that, but utilizing the other benefits we have as being property owners. The beach, the docks, the lake. Is someone going to be patrolling that public that's coming in, also going to keep them from utilizing our beaches, our parks?
That's a kid question.
That's my concern.
If you want me to answer it?
I don't care who answers it.
I'm going to answer it to you that I'm going to wait to see if it's a problem first. I've already got signs made up that I'm going to post along the post to go into the beach that says, I think it says Heritage Lake members beyond this point only, or something like that. You know, if we all of a sudden start getting an influx of people that, I'm not going to go out and hire a bunch of police officers stand around like guards when there's not a problem.
I understand that. I absolutely understand that. My concern is it in in the wording of the books or whatever, stating that if this does occur, because we have all had our boats broken into at one time, our houses broken into, and we're not open to the public. So who's to say that when we start getting more traffic, and again, I'm in Mill Springs, where all of this traffic is gonna be coming through.
Okay, let me answer, you know, I'm more concerned about the people that live here than I am the people that don't.
Mm-hmm.
We just put last Thursday, I think it was, at Lincoln Park, because that grass is always really wet and soft, and people just pull in there and tear it up and rut it, and we always have to put dirt in it and fill it. We put signs up, same signs that I kind of had made at the same time, that says no parking on grass. I believe, from the information that I got, it's probably the same two, but at 2 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, one of the officers that lives out here was at a disturbance on exit 1. He heard the ungodliest noise, and 2 young boys was out just tearing it up in the parking lot, throwing gravel all over your boats.
Yeah.
That's dangerous, but he lives here. And they went down to the Lincoln Park, and those signs that we put up, they drove over 3 of them and just flattened them. Those are kids that live here. So maybe we ought to worry about them before we worry about somebody that's coming from the outside.
Right, but that's not.
And I could go on and on with stories like that with people
understand
that live here.
But are those things being taken care of? You say it was reported, but were they taken care of? And then you're saying it's just the people that are living here.
Well, that officer is taking care of it because he went and caught him.
All right. So it's a wait and see.
A wait and see on one.
That's what we're working on, is a wait and see.
If it's a problem, we'll address it.
I think
All the way in the back.
Thank you. Her hand's been short. Okay, good evening, I'm Regina Randolph, 641 Jefferson Valley.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your address.
641 Jefferson Valley.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to inquire about across the cove from us. I don't know if that's a little parking or a gathering area, but there's a porta potty that's prominent. Yes. So when we moved in about 8 years ago, there was some type of facade that was in front of the porta potty, but now it's gone.
Yes, ma'am.
So wanted to see, yeah.
That facade that you were talking about, that thing was falling apart.
Yeah.
So actually, when it was kind of nasty out, our plan, we had it tore out, and we're going to put a new one in to go around it.
Good.
And we would like to take that parking lot and kind of straighten it, square it off a little bit, and make it a little bit of a more place for people to park, and not allow them to pull up on the grass and pull right at the edge. I mean, it's close enough they could park right there and go out there and fish, but I know exactly what you're saying. You know, we've got it on our list.
I hope very soon, because there's nothing that pleases me more than to go out and see people come out and zip up their pants.
Fair enough. Well,
That's too much information.
Yeah, too much food for me.
I'll what is today? Monday? Yeah. I'll assure you by Tuesday of next week it'll be done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Regina.
You got a sign, pull pants up.
I was going to say a month until you told me that they'd come out pulling their pants up.
Rick Miller.
Rick Miller, 26 Gettysburg. I just wanted to weigh in on at least one of the issues that Kathy brought up and Ken commented on. You know, that perfect storm of Memorial Day weekend, on top of everything else, that was the first time the Semanos taco trailer came to the lake. And if any of you were there, they had lines from the lake into the parking lot. And so, you know, that just suggests to me that we've got excess parking. It could be tight when it's really busy, but I agree with Ken's approach. If it becomes a problem, we'll deal with it. But my evidence says we got it.
there's no sense in spending money when we possibly don't need to. I'm not saying it's not gonna be a problem, but there's no sense in jumping on and spending money. The only concern that I would, not concern, the only thing that I think needs to be addressed, and probably addressed soon, I would like to take a look at this winter and try to have it in place by spring, with some kind of a parking out on the water. I've always, from day one, before this marina was even built, right off that flagpole, I just always envisioned a nice little fishing pier with some boat parking. And I think, you know, we owe it to the business and the community to do that.
Dan?
T,
Got it.
289 Gettysburg. And in lieu of, I'm all for the restaurant, by the way. However, what I think is a problem or a potential problem is if people are going to be coming in and parking their boats to go in and eat at the restaurant. Because there's very few slips. If they're going in there for 30, 40 minutes at a time, I mean, there's only room for about 4 or 5 boats on that side.
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 boats, and if they're going in there, or there's got to be a time limit or something that you can be parked at the dock or something, because that to go get your trailer and get the boat off the water is going to be a major problem.
We do know it's a problem. It's not something that we haven't looked at. We have, and we've discussed it at great length. Give us some time. We've got to get through the marina, get it paid for. I can't get a nickel out of him. And I say that nicely. He's done a wonderful job with her money. I'd love to be able to tell you that we're going to put in slips there this year. I don't know that's going to happen financially until he comes up with some more money for us. That's where we're at. The $1,000 Rick gave us tonight, we had several more of those coming from the community. That is on our list. Okay? I mean,
keep in mind too that if we do get a successful restaurant in here, and I will tell you it's not going to be this year. We might have a restaurant in here sometime soon, but it's not going to be successful.
Right.
Because people aren't going to go in there. The pandemic is still here. And the pandemic's going to be here through the first of the year at least, depending on what happens. So we can't even forecast how successful we're going to be. We can't forecast. Now, we do have some forecasts that tell us how successful a good restaurant can be here if there's no pandemic. And that forecast tells us you have never seen the kind of money that we're going to get out of that restaurant in any other endeavor we've ever had at this lake.
Well, I think you'll be.
And that helps us build things that we need after the fact.
I think you'll be surprised how many, even with the pandemic.
I hope so.
well, the numbers we've seen, they're very impressive.
Yeah, no doubt.
Can I say something?
Steve, yes.
And if, you know, the road around this lake is a public road. It's open to the public. It's not a private road, it's a county road taken by the county, taken care of by the county. You got people driving through here every day. We had one even drove off the bridge. I think that's been 2 years ago. Didn't live out here.
And he used our water.
Yeah, we had to get somebody out here to fix that, but they're driving around this lake every day. There's people that visit out here. That's the way they find their house, if they like a house, if they like a lot. You'd be surprised how many people we had come into the marina that we asked for the POA card, and they said, we're just visiting. It's very,
Wow,
it's a very nice
we
lake.
didn't know this was here. This is awesome.
And there's a lot of people,
All the time.
the way I understand it, the real estate people have people waiting to buy houses out here.
There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, the public's here anyhow because you have a lot of people. In the summertime, the wintertime, I don't know. But in the summertime, you have people who are visiting people from out of town. So that's going to be the public. And in the summertime, the restaurant's going to be nice, but in the wintertime, we're cut in half out here. There isn't hardly anybody that stays out here. And if the public, if the people that are visiting out here go, hey, they got a nice restaurant, let's go out there to eat. I mean, it's not gonna be 1,000 people in here. You may get 10, 20 cars, and that's it. I don't think there's gonna be that many people who really show up.
Surprised on how many, in the wintertime we're gonna be.
Thank you, Steve.
Instead of having to drive 70 miles to get
Right there.
good food.
Brian Alexander, Patriots Landing 273. Talk about the bass tournaments that you want to talk about. We did start doing $5 a boat, and for the fish stocking fees, to help out with that, we have $350 so far to donate towards that.
Thank you.
We did meet with Ken. I met with Kent Hoops. We talked to them about some of the problems that were going on out at the lake. One of the things we really wanted to get out was just because someone's fishing does not mean they're a tournament fisherman. And we hate getting blamed for everything. And the first public meeting, we get blamed for something that he comes out and says wasn't even in the tournament. So we put ribbons on our boats. It's a different color ribbon every tournament, so nobody knows what color we're going to be. It's a different color ribbon.
Where is it on the boat?
On the trolling boat.
On the where?
On the trolling boat.
Okay.
Pink, yellow, green, all sorts of colors. When the economy gets better, we're going to try to get stickers made with boat numbers on it, so it's even easier for someone to call me and tell me exactly who it is. We don't want any problems. There's not 32 tournaments, there's 20. The reason 2 years ago was because they drained the lake down Labor Day weekend. That's why our tournament season was cut short. That's why there's only 15 tournaments. We can't weigh in dead fish. We try to keep all the fish healthy. We take them in release boats, release them out in the middle of the lake so they can go wherever they want. We have a youth tournament this coming Saturday. We got 24 kids under the ages of 15 to 6 that are coming out to fish. We're going to do prize packs for them. You guys come watch it at noon is the weigh-in. I hate the negativity that we get for fishing tournaments out here. We're trying to do everything we can to do right. Ken called me or texted me last week on a Sunday and said we had a problem. I addressed it after the tournament. He knows one more. He's disqualified and won't fish anymore. So we're doing everything we can. We just don't want to get blamed for stuff that we're not doing. And I know Ken's trying to do the best he can out there too. He was out there the first Friday night. We had a Friday nighter this past Friday. And security left about 10 and there were pontoon boats full speed at midnight. So, and we know, we took videos because we know we get blamed for a lot of it. So we're just trying to do our best, and we're trying to help with the lake stocking, the fish stocking and stuff. And we don't want to get shut down. We want to do it right. We want to have tournaments. Do we have too many? I'm not going to say that. You said Waveland's bad because of tournaments. I had a 19-pound limit out there 2 weeks ago. Glenflint, I had 18.7 yesterday out there. So just because you can't catch fish doesn't mean the lake's bad. It just means you got to adjust how to fish. So that's where I'm at on that, and I'll give you the money back.
Thank you.
Brian, did I understand you right? This year, there's only 20 tournaments, is that correct?
We had 24, but with it getting 4 shut down, we're down to 20.
Okay,
We're down to 20 this year,
all right,
not including the kids tournament.
okay.
And we're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do on the Feast and Ski, if we can do the little youth tournament before it and get away in. We're waiting for Kent to figure out what we can do on that.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I made him a commitment. I talked to Kent.
Yep.
Are you the guy?
I'm in charge of running the tournament.
Okay, can I just, I'm going to take back what I told him. I'm going to talk to you.
Talk to me all you want.
I got your name. I don't have your number. Ken has it, I assume.
I'll give it to you after the meeting.
Would you mind giving it to me? And would you commit to me that you'll talk to all of them one more time about driving safely around the lake?
I'll talk to them.
That's all I'm going to ask you to do.
We've never had a threat of being disqualified if you broke a rule or anything like that. Specifically Friday nights. Heck, bugs were horrible out here Friday night. We had our lights on, and I mean, it was coated from top to bottom in gnats. It's just part of it. We gotta deal with it. We know it. If you don't like it, don't come and fish. But we are having a large turnout. You can tell by boat registration. We've got 10 new boats. I don't even know who they are that are coming to the tournament. So
we've encountered a lot of people coming in the office, registering their property, pulling really nice bass boats, and they're just moving in here just because of
the fishing. To me, it's one of the best fisheries in the state.
No doubt about it. I agree with that one.
And that's why we're doing lake stock. Unlike Indiana DNR, you guys are taking care of the lake, stocking it and everything. The fishery's in really great shape. They had shocking done last year to see how that went. Had great results with that. I don't know. I don't want people against us, and I don't want to be against people, but we just want to go enjoy the lake.
I'm all for big kids tournaments. That's great.
Come to the weigh-in at noon.
That's this Saturday, right?
This Saturday.
Okay, thank you, Brian, and hopefully let's work together, and this community is a great place. I just want to see us all get along.
Yep.
Okay?
Us too.
All right, no.
And we've talked about the arguing on docks with people and things like that, and we've addressed it, and there hasn't been any complaints from Ken that I've heard of yet.
Not yet.
We don't want any either.
Yeah, I
don't want any either, trust me.
All right, let's work together on this, okay?
Rome wasn't built overnight, and I appreciate the effort that working towards making it a better tournament.
The 32, I didn't pull it out of thin air. One of the tournament guys that I talked to directly.
No problem. Well, we're all gonna get along here.
I texted Robin for a tournament schedule before the tournament. He never sent one. I called the office. They said they didn't have one.
We have them at the Marina, just walk in.
You do now?
Okay, we just dropped it from 12 in your mind, so you oughta.
That's good.
Great. Something worked. I saw one beautiful lady before you, sir. I'm gonna call on her right now, right there in the blue, the prettiest girl in the room.
I'm representing Putnam County Kids Count.
Your name and your address, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Cindy Holston, 25 Jefferson Valley.
Thank you. I'll pay for that.
Okay, I'm representing Putnam County Kids Count, and they do have a kids tournament. The fishermen have a kids tournament this weekend, and most of you that know me, I'm for the kids out here, 100, 200%. And we are going to do some sponsoring and a little bit of collaborating with the fishing guys this weekend. And I've talked with Jason, haven't met Brian yet, but we're looking forward to it. Because those guys are good guys. Nah, there's always that bad little apple, but that's all right. Is that
Not anymore.
okay, good.
We appreciate that donation. That's awesome. The kids are going to enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Kids thing on Saturday at the.
You want me to take the next one?
No, I'll take it.
You gotta see it.
This was important, I'm sorry. This was the most important thing I had to do today.
Matt Ludlow, 56 Victory Hill.
I'm sorry I didn't get your name.
Matt Ludlow.
Okay, Matt.
I noticed, we kind of talked about this a lot over the last couple of years, really, my wife and I and friends. With all the new houses being built, all the influx of people coming in, boats are getting faster. I'm noticing drivers are getting younger on the boats, and along with their occupants, like teenagers, high school, whatever. And even the adults, there's a whole, it's not just the fishing guys that are zigzagging, it's everyone really. Is there like anything in the works to maybe implement a test when you sign up to register your boat? Like anyone of legal driving age needs to pass the test to get a sticker?
Actually, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No.
Is that, okay. I had discussions on that today. We've had 900 and some boats registered, 979.
320 acre lake.
And we're looking at next year, all new boats we're talking about, no decision of this board's made yet because we really haven't made any decision tonight except 3 or 4 major ones. But we're going to discuss about taking tests for all new people that come into the lake.
First time registered.
First time registered, yes, thank
A
you.
lot of people, they don't know about the clockwise thing or the.
Well, and they do sign a paper that said they've read the rules.
I signed up once too, I'd probably skip a step.
A lot of people are skipping that step, we're looking at it.
Yeah.
Nothing will be done the remainder of this season because 979, we might get,
46 more.
There is
I want
discussion
65 more,
Yeah.
but those won't all be new.
It was like, we went out today and Mondays are perfect, but we were also out, Saturday, Friday evening? And in the evening, we saw the pontoon boats.
My wife and I stayed out all day yesterday, and you're not preaching to the choir. It is a problem. And we've got to do something. We're very fortunate we haven't had an accident yet. Very, we're lucky.
We've been out here 13 years, and it's just getting busier every year. The boats are getting faster and more expensive, and the drivers are getting younger.
And bigger wakes. That's a big one too. Okay, I've got it noted. The board will be looking at it, but, okay? Way in the back, there's another pretty lady.
Aw, thank you. Wanda Gardner, 237 Bakeries Landing. I'm looking forward to the restaurant. I'm loving the fact that I can bring friends from the north side and from other places to actually see this and be able to have dinner and not just have pizza. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a great addition. The other thing is, I think a lot of people don't know about Heritage Lake, and I mean, I have a lot of friends on guys, and there's a few of the people that I work with, I work in a hospital that are surgeons that are like, there's a private lake out there where I can ski, and a couple of them have bought out here. So, I mean, not necessarily that you want more people to buy, but I think it's a good addition that may raise your values as well. So I think it's great that it's added.
Well, thank you very much, ma'am. Right here, gentlemen.
Robert Pulisa, 183 Mill Springs. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that's worked so hard to get that marina up and going, beautiful building, so certainly better for the community. I also want to thank everybody that worked so hard to get the boat registration going in the middle of the pandemic because it gave people an opportunity to get out while most people were just cooped in. So thanks for everybody that sacrificed and put their lives on the line, actually, for that matter, to make sure that boats are being registered. So thank you to everybody that did that. Got a couple of questions about the zoning. I know it's kind of a little bit uncertain kind of scenario for everybody, but on the parcel that is being rezoned to commercial, does the whole parcel needs to be zoned commercial or just where the marina's at? That's the first part of the question.
The whole parcel is being zoned commercial. We can control everything. Just because it's zoned commercial does not mean it is all available to the public. We control everything. We can split the building in half as far as members and non-members. We can control it all. We have no restrictions.
So the whole parcel will be commercial. So the next question will be, the whole parcel will be commercial general?
Yes.
Okay. From the commercial standpoint, has there been a kind of a, I'm sure you guys are starting to talk about it a little bit, but has there been kind of like a group put together to just put a plan or start foreseeing putting a plan together to how the commercial use could be used from a green space standpoint to any other buildings that want to come down the road to parking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I think what we're going to do is there will always be attention given to that. We have to go one step at a time. We get a marina, we get a restaurant, then we get problems. We get problems that we have to deal with them. Whether parking becomes a problem or not, whether boat parking becomes a problem or not. We know boat parking is going to be a problem down the road. As far as building other buildings on that property, there's no discussion about that. we'd like to keep the property the way it is. Will that happen in the future? We don't know. We have to see what's gonna come up. We have to see what kind of problems develop. So there's a lot of problems around this lake, and they're addressed as quickly as possible. Like, what'd you say, next Tuesday? So, yeah, we will have committees definitely paying attention to each and every step as we need to move forward.
My question was just because it's just kind of a rise out of nowhere, you know, just kind of try to stay proactive, just trying to keep things being productive. But I mean, certainly the restaurant is an exciting thing. It's beautiful property. So one other question we had was about, so people are talking about boats and more boats faster and everything. Has there been talk about limiting boats per household?
The number of
Then I'm sorry, has there been?
There is a rule.
There currently is a rule that indicates a household could only have 2 boats on the water simultaneously, 2 power craft on the water simultaneously. That's in the lake book that you signed.
But besides having them own the boat, having them registered, so okay, like there's some houses now that have 3 boats. You know, it could be happening that you have 4 boats, et cetera, et cetera.
That's something that can be brought up to the lake committee to address.
You know, just not to be on the water, but just the amount of boats that can be registered per household. With so many, you know, more and more houses are getting built off the water. There's more money on the lake, which means there means more opportunity for people to have extra boats.
Yeah,
Just a thought, I mean, I'm not saying one way or another, I'm just saying certainly a conversation to have with some of the issues we're having with so many boats in the water.
You can register as many boats as you want, but you can only drive 2 on the water at one time, so.
That little card you get that's hanging on your keychain in the boat, that has a number on it. And most everybody knows everybody out here, so if you were out there and you had 3 of your boats, I'm sure that somebody would say, I know he's got 3 boats on the water. So then that would be directed to Ken and to Lake Spirit.
But it's something that can certainly be brought up to the lake committee in terms of limiting the number of boats that can be registered per household.
I think it's something to talk about, you know, just a thought.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
2 boats and 2 jet skis. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have 2 boats and 2 jet skis.
Yeah.
They have a runabout and they have a pontoon boat, and Lord forbid they have 2 jet skis.
But some of us own 3 lots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, he will go by lot, you know, he wouldn't necessarily buy owner, he would go by lot, is my thought, you know, and I just speaking randomly as I hear some comments, you know, and, that's the thing, maybe these watercraft is not only boats, I mean, you can only have so many motorized watercrafts that you can have. I mean, it's just food for thought as the lake stays the same size and more people move in.
I've got it down as a note.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Robert, right?
Robert, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I do have a social media question. If there's no other questions.
I think I have
Okay.
one guy right here.
Mike Freiberger, 166 Patriots Landing. It's on the restaurant, if and when it does get here. And that, how, you know, we've already purchased some kitchen equipment. We haven't? I thought we did.
If somebody did, get it delivered there.
No, I thought.
No, I haven't.
Is there, no, I mean, for whatever we did buy or we do purchase, is there gonna be a lease agreement and that for the square footage of the restaurant to whoever comes in to run the restaurant?
It has not been negotiated yet.
Okay. And that I was just wanting to make sure that there was, you know, for whatever we as a homeowners association spend, and that are we gonna stand a chance of recouping any of that back to us?
We sure hope so. Matter of fact, we sure hope to get a lot of money back.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I don't know what that agreement would be. You know, of course, nobody does. But you know, if it, you know, I don't know if we would share the profit or just a lease agreement. So,
I would say that it's more likely that will be a percentage of gross.
okay,
Once the restaurant gets to a point where it can establish itself as a 100% running full restaurant with no pandemic.
right,
We've seen performance,
yeah,
and the performance, I believe, can be very accurate. This group has 15 places. They know what they're doing. They're not all one concept. They have never lost a restaurant in 35 years. And the performance seemed very real. When do we think that performer can actuate? We don't know.
Right.
Pandemic is going to dictate a lot of that.
right. Would it be a lease agreement up to that point?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know,
I mean, nobody's going to come out here and go broke just to prove that they can run a restaurant.
right,
So, to answer your question, are we going to demand a rent from the person that's coming out that is only going to have 50% of the people going into that restaurant? I doubt it. I doubt it. We want a partnership. We want him to be successful, and we want us to be successful.
right.
So,
Okay.
that's all I can say.
And I guess the next question would be to Mr. Kelly. What kind of impact is that restaurant gonna have on the Conservancy as far as the drainage?
Well, I can tell you this. First of all the grease that comes out of that restaurant gets picked up.
Yep.
Second of all, we got grinder pumps in that restaurant that you could put 50 houses on, and it would be less harmful going to that treatment plant than right now with those 50 houses. So it's state-of-the-art equipment. It's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, because, you know, I know there's a lot of other people that are pretty concerned,
Okay.
and that's,
That's why we like the questions, and we've tried to be very honest with our answers. And if we can't answer them, we've tried to find lawyers that can. We've tried to find mechanics that can. We've tried to talk to people that are experts in the fields we're not experts in. And so as we answer questions from mostly emails and telephone calls and quorums like this, we try to know what we're talking about. We're not guessing. We don't want to fall flat on our face with any of these things. And above all, we are not hiding anything. I am so tired of having, I don't go on social media, but by God, I get a lot of calls from people that tell me I should, and you should see this. And hiding. That's why I got on the board. I came out here to retire so I can get on the board and hide things from my people. It's a joke. So we really are trying to do our best homework before we decide on any project. And we welcome the questions.
all right, so, well, we haven't bought anything for the restaurant yet.
We have not bought any equipment for the restaurant.
No equipment?
We have a floor, we have mechanics, we have doors, we have windows. We have not bought any equipment yet.
No furniture, nothing?
No.
We have $95,000 in our budget for kitchen equipment.
Okay.
Somebody
Lois?
must have seen the big sink that's in the end of the building. That was in the marina for years. For the last 20 or 30 years, that was in the marina. So that's not a new sink.
That's being donated so that we don't have to spend all of 95,000, which don't count your blessings on that one. Tough.
Okay, Grant.
All right.
Thank you for your question.
Just one second. Grant has one from the
Social media.
social media question. Go ahead, Grant.
It was a question about the
That's all right.
The center over there is the activity center, sorry. Is it gonna continue to be open, or are we short on staff, and is there any outsourcing for staff on to keep it open? That's what I'm reading the question.
I'm sorry, I didn't
The
understand.
activity center, are you gonna have it open with staff in there for people to come in?
No, we've staffed it in the past, and we would have 1 or 2 kids come in during the day, and we would pay somebody all day just to sit there and do nothing. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Especially now when we're trying to watch our P's and Q's now, and just having somebody sit there, it's just not worth it.
Okay. That was the question.
What happens is it makes it a little bit more difficult and spend more time cleaning it up for the people that rent it on weekends.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, Robert?
Yeah. One quick question. Paul, you mentioned that probably no rent, but, so in terms of, we would do like a revenue sharing, like to try to create profit for the restaurant, just to bring income? What were your thoughts on that? Just out of curiosity, you mentioned it kind of piqued my interest.
Well, my thoughts are irrelevant right now, just because there's been no discussion. My thoughts are, yes, we would share in the revenue. And we would share in the gross eventually. Once the restaurant reaches a point where they can pay their employees and make money, then we would share in the gross. And that would be determined according to the performance and real money, real numbers. And the reason we would do it on gross is because it keeps the restaurateur working hard to keep the place full. He's going to have to be responsible enough to bring in people. That's not our bailiwick. He's got to do that. He does that where all his restaurants now. But in order to, that's the kind of stuff we're going to have to build to that because of this pandemic. I could give you probably better answers if it wasn't for the pandemic.
Yeah. I was just curious, you mentioned that, so there were some conversations about how we're gonna handle that part.
The restaurant down in Hidden Valley has a agreement with their POA, and it's based on gross, and it's a percentage of gross, and the restaurateur does very well, and the POA does very well.
It's gotta be a win-win for sure, worth it, yeah. So would that go to, so how would that dynamic happen when you're starting to kind of develop that sort of policy? Is that kind of like a board thing? Is that kind of like a community thing that?
It'll be a discussion between the board, our attorneys, and the restaurateur.
And will be put for a vote within the board, pretty much? And, or is the community gonna, my question is it gonna be open? Or is the agreement gonna be put out for suggestion from the community before it gets voted in? Or no?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Okay. All right.
If I could respond real quick to Mike at 166 Pitcher's Landing.
Sure.
When you asked about expenditures for restaurant equipment, we have purchased, I don't know if I missed that, we have purchased outdoor seating.
Oh, okay.
So if you've seen some boxes and stuff like that, that is out underneath the shelter, that's some outdoor seating and table.
How can I forget?
That was said at that.
I was thinking equipment.
That we're waiting for the deck to get the pavers, the concrete pavers to get finished upstairs on the deck, so we can put some of that up there, and then there's some for downstairs also. So I can see the upstairs on my camera, and they made a lot of headway over the weekend by finishing that, but I don't know if they finished it today or not, but there's a little bit of work left to be done, and the railing has got to be finished before we move anything up there. So if you see a bunch of boxes outside underneath the downstairs porch, that's some outside seating table.
Oh, they're there.
Pardon?
They are there.
Yeah.
I saw them yesterday.
Okay.
Dwayne?
County 282. I'm going to change the format here just a little bit, since there have been some questions on the Conservancy. And the people that are watching and the people here. If you have a concern about the Conservancy, be concerned about what you flush down your stool. We have, you would not believe the pumps that we get plugged up with. All this stuff that these people sell that says flushable, they are exactly right. It is flushable. It is not biodegradable. It plugs up pumps. When we have to pull a pump and clean all that stuff out that shouldn't even have been in there, we're probably talking, I'm going to go real low, $600 to $800 every time the guys have to go pull a pump, clean it up, maybe replace an impeller, burn a pump up. So, you know, tell all your neighbors, diapers are not supposed, there ought to be only 2 things that go down your stool: human waste and toilet paper. That's it. Don't pay any attention to the stuff that it says flushable, because it is flushable, but it is not biodegradable. Off my highway.
Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Dwayne. I don't see any other hands. Oh, sorry, what's back there? I apologize, didn't see it.
Anita Johnson, 55 Jefferson Valley.
Thank
We've
you.
heard about this pump stuff and this, everything that's going down the toilet. Let's just publish the pumps that have that happen all the time and all the houses that feed into that, because they're costing all of us money. And I believe in a little bit of public humiliation. Maybe we'll get the problem solved.
Rick has worked with us, and me before Rick took over. We put it in the highlights different times, a half a page or a quarter of a page. And one other thing, we was talking about Marina. I was at the first meeting that we ever had when we had the ad hoc committee starting to look at this. And one of the things that I said, a grease trap. They cannot take that commercial grease into our sewage system. And the same at your house. If you got a bunch of bacon grease, put it in your regular trash. Don't flush it down the stool. It's terrible on the pumps and the impellers. Okay,
Thank you,
I'm
Dwayne.
shut up.
With that, I don't see any other hands. I'll take a motion. Rick,
Ah, come on, I was gonna say second.
I must say thank you to the Lake Committee for a contribution of $7,500.
That's on top of the $350 we got from Brian.
And when we add it all together, we currently have in total donations over $24,000. That's awesome. That's awesome. Didn't expect any of that.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for coming, everyone. This is our first meeting back, and I think it went pretty well. Thanks. Executive meeting, 5 minutes in this room.
Sure.
Please.
I don't even feel